All right, it's Friday the 13th, June 13th, 2025. And like any Friday the 13th, you never know what's going to happen. We got a lot of really interesting craziness. This is an example of crude oil, and I'm going to go through what's called a pre-confirmation trade. So in the regular trading hour session, anticipating the major direction for the day. Now, you notice we had this really massive move. This was a 900 tick move all the way up here overnight. This is the result of Israel attacking Iran. Everything went a little bit haywire in the middle of the night. Things started to settle down a little bit. So we got this kind of nice, a little bit more settled movement through here, which is really great to see as the market's kind of, normalized a bit. But still, what we end up with is a really unusual pattern. This is called a contraction pattern. Okay, so if we take a look at this ADR session, this is the Asian session. Our ODR session, or European or overnight session, is completely contained. The IDR range is completely contained within the prior IDR range. So it creates a very unique pattern. We don't see this happen very often. And fortunately, the data still holds. So in this case, we had a contraction between ADR and ODR. We had a long confirmation in ODR, and it was a true day. And then we had what's called an upside X plus. So all this is DR, IDR contextual principles that I teach and coach on. And so we have an upside X plus here. And I knew that we were going to have what's called a short box. So the box is the difference between the open and closing price of the formation of the DR zone. Okay. And so this is the box right here. We opened above where we closed for the session opening, the first hour of the session. And that gives me a lot of information that I can then plug into my data tool. And so when I plug all this into my data tool, what I get is a very clear picture. Here's CL, contraction move, long true, upside X plus, and a short box. And what I end up with is an 80% probability that we're going to have a short confirmation in RDR. So 80% probability that we were going to have a short confirmation, which was it's really high. That's really great to see. Kind of unusual too for an upside X plus model, but really kind of cool to see. You'll notice here I also have these are my zones. These are my pre-confirmation zones. Again, they come from the data. So my deepest zone is actually out here. And you can see we went to the tick to the maximum of the deepest zone. So right here, to the tick, to the maximum of the deepest zone. So as soon as we get this at 10:30, right, and then we start to reject from here, I know that I can be searching for and stalking a short entry. And there were really two options today for me to get in. So let me just kind of show you. Option number one was kind of our best standard entry, which is called a color change. And so the color change occurs when you have kind of a bull bar and then a bear bar that completely overtakes the body of the bull bar. And so here was our rejection from that kind of deepest pre-confirmation level. So we know we're going short. We know that we've kind of reached our deepest level. And now we have a short color change right here. So you could technically get in right here, which was fantastic. If you missed this, then another entry would be to play off of the crossing of the moving average. So you could also get in right here, albeit a little bit late. That's another option. So option one is up here. Option two is a little bit late. If you missed it, I actually did miss this. I didn't see it until afterwards. Part of the challenge of looking at multiple markets is sometimes you kind of miss these color changes that happen pretty quick. This is just a 2-minute chart. So this was my entry. My entry was right here. Got in as soon as this closed, which was great. And the question is now, okay, where do you take profit? Okay, so profit taking in my approach is oriented around major levels. And one of the most important major levels we have monthlies. I'm going to turn these on and you're going to see a lot of monthlies show up because we're in an area where we just kind of tested a lot of monthlies. And if I go back, I just want to show you how, really nice and accurate these monthlies are. Like everywhere we've turned this whole day, we've turned at a monthly level, right? Turned there, we turned here, we retested through here, this held through here, right? Then support became resistance here, we stopped here. I mean, just everywhere we're turning on the monthlies. The monthlies are really fantastic levels. And so I was targeting when we were coming out, coming down from here, I was actually targeting this monthly level right here. So around the 85 mark. And so my entry was up here. My exit was here. I probably could have targeted a little bit further down, maybe even down to the midline right here. But I didn't want to push my luck because, I knew that we're probably going to come down. These monthlies, double monthly, stacked monthlies were probably going to hold. And you can see that they did and turn around and came up. So that was my trade. It was a 9R trade. If we come back and kind of measure this out, just in terms of what we're looking at here. So if we kind of take a look here, so we kind of slap our short position tool on, you're in here, your stop loss could be right here. And then I think that was at like 86 roughly. So that's a 9R trade. Boom. Super awesome. Great day.